Doing. I didn't know I was doing this, so take it easy on me.
DC over here.
Yep.
We just talked to Jon, and he was talking about kind of the preparation, the importance, and the fact, like everything going on to this. So we've been asking the fighters about just how preparation and fight week's been for them. How's it been for you? Because I feel like we've been talking about this fight for about 12 months at this point.
Yeah, we talk about it a lot. Man, so many of the fighters that are on the card this weekend are ones that we've prepped for so many times. We had fighter meetings with every single athlete today. So once you do that, you're almost making your fighter cards for the athletes for this weekend. Sunday morning, I will watch some fights from the last time, but a lot of it's done with those fighter meetings. So, yeah, I'm going to prep. Tomorrow I'm going to prep at the Army-Navy golf course. Make sure that I'm getting ready.
And Greg was in here, and even Jon talked about it a bit, that if there's weather or elements and everything, they might have to pause action and pick it back up later to wait it out. You might have to stretch. So I guess, are you prepared to possibly have to fill a lot of dead time with a lot of fans that might have never seen MMA before? This might be the first time.
I think that if we need to do that, I think we're more than prepared to do. I mean, Joe talks 4 hours a day, 4 days a week. So I'm pretty sure Joe Rogan knows how to find conversation to fill time. And I got to tell you something. I don't know if you guys watch Joe, but people take what he says very seriously. So
yes, they do.
Yeah, we'll just make Joe talk for 4 hours.
And as an American, do you think they did a good job with representing picking all the fighters and the matchups for this card at the White House?
I think it's amazing. And honestly, I believe that the American fighters have very tough fights. Yeah. Ilia is just tremendous. It's a hard fight for Justin. Hoofy's tremendous. A hard fight for Chandler, right? But it's the 250th anniversary of the greatest country in the world. And the United States and Americans have been underdogs for a really long time. When the United States fought for their independence, that was not supposed to happen, right? It makes for an incredible opportunity for a great story. But it also makes for, if you're a movie person, that if Ilia is going to play the bad guy, to see a movie where the bad guy actually wins, right? So it's just, the storylines are great. I love it.
I have to ask you specifically, Dana's come out and said that if Alex wins a third belt, he leapfrogs Jon on the GOAT list. Where do you stand on that?
Alex just asked me that directly, and he's big now. So it's like, that's a hard question to answer in front of him when he's that big. And I actually told him no. I told him that I don't think that he'd be the greatest just yet. I think that he needs to, he would need to defend the championship at heavyweight. He's defended 3 times at light heavyweight. Is it 3 times he's defended? Two or three times?
Yeah, well, he lost it and regained it.
Yeah, so it's like he's fought in that title for a lot of times, and I think that he just needs more work. But I do believe that being a 3-division champion is one of the greatest accomplishments ever. But to put him over George St. Pierre or Khabib Nurmagomedov, I don't think quite yet. Jon Jones, you guys know how I feel about that. So.
And the question I've always wanted to ask you, unrelated to the fight card, but who would have been a harder prep for you, at light heavyweight against Alex or heavyweight against Francis?
I'm just happy I didn't have to prep for either of them. That's good.
You fought Rumble twice. That's about as close as it gets.
Yeah, but come on, man. Did you see Pereira's hands? And Francis? Yeah, those guys they're monsters, bro. I'm just lucky I'm just happy that I didn't have to do that. You got to think, you're asking me this as a 47-year-old retired guy. If you'd asked me that in my prime, I would have probably thought I would have beat them both. But I'm a 47-year-old retired human being now that's going to play golf on his off day. Yeah.
Well, would you, we've talked about this matchup with Jon and possibly at RAF or wrestling, and you said, Jon will never compete against me, but RAF is going to Cleveland. If they came to you and said, hey, do you want to run it back with Stipe in Cleveland, would you do that?
Man, you keep trying to put me in there with these dudes that can't wrestle with me. I don't want to wrestle. But, yeah, I'd like to get one over him, too. Anybody just wrestling, I'm good. Yeah.
So some people say that this event blurs the line between politics and sports. Do you understand that criticism? Do you recognize it?
No, I don't, because I don't really I don't really pay attention to that. And I'm here to watch one of the greatest events in the history of mixed martial arts. That's what I'm here for, right? To watch great fighters fight in an arena that no one ever could have thought that we could be in, right? So all the other things that's all noise, that people try to bring in negativity into something that's not. This is a testament to what the UFC has become. You got to remember, this is a sport that back in the mid-90s, they didn't know if it would ever get on pay-per-view. They were in Biloxi, Mississippi, fighting in front of 2,000 people. They're setting up an octagon on the South Lawn at the White House. That's what I'm here for. None of that other stuff.
Do you think this event would ever have happened if it wasn't for President Trump?
I think that it was a perfect storm that allowed for the UFC to have the opportunity to host this event. And I think that it's going to be tremendous. I think that we are all lucky to be a part of it. And I think that we all should live in that the sport that we all love and cover is on the grandest stage that it's ever been. And I think that that's where we should live when it comes to this event. Fighters are going to fight at the White House. Say it 10 times and then realize that's a reality and then live in that.
Hey, DC, right over here.
Yep.
You guys have built something really special with the UFC weigh-in show on Fridays. Can
Yes.
you just talk a little bit about just how you guys have been able to improve that and what you guys just continue to try to build in making that some of people's favorite UFC programming?
Well, you give people alcohol at 7:30 in the morning.
Hell yeah.
And then you let them play games. You know, it's so funny. Alexander Volkanovski hurt his hip on the weigh-in show, and I tore my ACL last time I fell. So it's like, yeah, it's fun. We're beating each other up out there. It's an amazing show. We have a great group of producers that come up with games and things that keep people engaged. And I think what people like the most about the weigh-in show is that they're not quick hitters. We could spend 8 to 10 minutes talking about a fight because the conversation shifts to that, and the producers allow for us to do it. They give the room where you can really get into the X's and the O's of the fights, and it's loose and it's fun, and we're wearing T-shirts and jeans and sneakers. It's about as good as it gets. I think that it's a great program. And when it started, it was an idea, and this idea has proven to be as beneficial to the content that we could have ever hoped for.
You know, you've had these great signature rivalries, Jon Jones, Stipe Miocic. Where does your rivalry with Laura Sanko rank in your career?
Oh, we fight from the very start of this. It's like brother and sister that just we live across the hallway from each other, and we're just constantly fighting. It's awesome, though. She's smart, she's witty, and she's great in that chair.
Final question. I've been asking all of the fighters today. If you were the president, would you want your birthday to be a national holiday, or would you want your face on one of the coins?
Oh, I want to be on money. I'm definitely trying to get on money, man. I want to be on money. Yeah, I want to be on money.
Thank you.
DC down here to your right.
Yep.
You were just saying there beforehand that stylistically, this is a very, very tough fight for Justin Gaethje against Ilia Topuria.
Mm-hmm.
If you were Justin Gaethje and you had his skill set, how would you approach the fight?
God, it'd be a lot of movement, man. It would be about interrupting the timing of Topuria, trying not to be stationary. Ilia is so good. He's so good when he sets his feet. He throws with so much power. But if you keep him moving and shifting, it's hard to generate as much power. At least I'd imagine it would be harder to generate that type of explosive power. So I try to mix in some wrestling, and I would be movement heavy. I think footwork is going to be the key if Gaethje is to win this fight.
And your good friend Max Holloway is obviously headlining International Fight Week in just 3 weeks' time.
Yeah.
How do you foresee that fight, that rematch with Conor McGregor?
It's going to be a tremendous fight. I think that we now get to see two guys that are adults, right? The first time they fought, they were children. Max was a kid. Conor was a kid. These guys are going to be grown men fighting in what will be. It's hard to think that an event will get bigger after this, but every time Conor McGregor's here, it's bigger and it's better. The sport's better with this man in the fight game. So I'm excited for that, as I am excited about the fights this weekend.
Thank you.
Nope.
DC. Nope. Hey,
Go ahead.
DC. Is it true that you're responsible for Jacoby Smith's call out of Kevin Holland? Because he said the only reason that he called him out was because you were saying that Kevin Holland would whoop his ass.
I said that?
Yeah, he said.
Who told you that?
Is it Jacoby?
Jacoby said that?
Yeah, he said his inner circle.
Where'd you? So am I? Inner circle's more than one human being. I don't know who told him that. Jacoby's a liar, man. You have to understand. He's a tremendous fighter, and he's going to be very, very good at this. But he's lying. He probably just doesn't want to take the responsibility. It's like a kid that throws the bomb and just hides his hands in his pants. He wanted that fight, and he got exactly what he wanted. I think it's going to be tremendous.
So you didn't tell him that Kevin Holland whoops ass?
I don't remember. Maybe. I talk a lot of shit, man. So I talk shit to Chris on the way in here. So I probably forgot. I might have said that.
DC, I know you talked a little bit about what Ilia needs to do, but on the other side, you know Justin very well, and Ilya's saying, he moves forward on me, I'm going to knock him out in 2 minutes. Like, he's incredibly confident. It's impossible for him to take me down. Like, Justin well. What does he have to do? And I guess how shocked would you be if Ilia fulfills that?
I just did Justin with the movement and the footwork. Would I be shocked if he won? No, man. These are the best fighters in the world.
But in 2 minutes.
If he gets knocked out in 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Would I be shocked?
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to be shocked by anything that Topuria says because he's told us a lot of things that people think is outlandish, and he's done every single one of them. When he was going to fight Alexander Volkanovski, I didn't work the card, but I flew down to Anaheim to speak with him. And he walked in with his team, and they all were wearing the same sweatsuit. It was majestic. They all looked so good. They were all wearing the same sweatsuit, and it was so tailor-fit. And he looked at me, and he goes, I'm going to knock him out in the second round. And I go, Ilia, everybody thinks they're going to knock him out, but it's Alexander Volkanovski. And he goes, DC, I promise you. And he speaks with this very calm tone. That you've talked to Ilia before, right? He never breaks eye contact, and he speaks with this very calm tone. And he said, I'm going to knock him out in the second round. I promise you, DC, it's just different. And he went out there and he knocked him out in the second round. And then he told me he was going to knock out Max Holloway. I said, well, nobody's ever knocked out Max Holloway. I promise you it's different. And then he knocks out Max. And it's just like, it's hard to discredit someone whenever what they tell you has proven to be true. So surprised, I guess because I know how good Justin is. But, I mean, it would just be what he's done before. I don't imagine he'll try to go and get Justin Gaethje in 2 minutes, though. That's crazy.
And you are in this exclusive club of the two division champions, right?
Yes.
Which Alex and Ilia are both in. They can both get some history here. Alex with the third belt, even though it's interim, and then Ilia defending the belt in 2 weight classes with an undefeated record, which no one else has done before.
Yep.
What would be the bigger accomplishment?
3 divisions. Are you crazy?
Even if it's interim?
It doesn't matter. You got to think, man, before Conor went up to fight for that second championship, we were unwilling to go up. Everybody was afraid. George St. Pierre got offered multiple times to go fight Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva to fight Jon Jones. It was almost impossible. That's why you saw such long title runs. Then Conor McGregor said, it doesn't have to be the same. I can do something different. And now you're telling me a guy is going to go in 3 different weight classes? That's nuts. Because Cyril Gane never could weigh 185 pounds. That's how you see the difference in the 2 human beings that are going to fight for that belt this weekend. Alex weighed 185 3 years ago. Cyril weighed 185 last when he was 15. He's like 37 now. He could never make that weight class. There's a difference in size, and that's why guys generally stay in their own weight class. So 3 weights to me is crazy.
We're hoping that we're going to get a unification fight, right, between whoever wins this and Tom Aspinall, but obviously a lot of stuff going on with Tom. Like the last time we had stability in this heavyweight division was like your rivalry with Stipe, and those fights were even a long time apart. Like how much do we need Tom and the UFC to get on the same page so we can have a true undisputed champion and get some normalcy?
Well, we need Tom Aspinall on the same page with the UFC because this is where the best heavyweights in the world fight. And Tom Aspinall is one of the best heavyweights. Tom Aspinall is the best heavyweight in the world because he's the world champion. and you want the world champion fighting, right? So, yeah, it's very important for Tom Aspinall and the UFC to get on the same page. And I can't wait for it because every time Tom Aspinall fights, it's amazing and it's fun. And he's just a beast. And to have a new interim champion after this weekend who will take all of that shine from headlining, co-headlining the White House, it would be an amazing, amazing time to watch. So, yeah, they need to get on the same page. Yep. All right, guys, thank you so much. Appreciate it.